Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Enneagram Entrepreneur Interviews. I am Whitney Ellison. And let's see, today, are we on week 6, episode 6? Maybe even week 7, episode 7. I start to forget what week I'm on after like week 5, but that's okay. So I have an amazing guest for us today. Her name's Kiara Jackson, and Kiara lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, and she has a business called Vibe Beauty, and we're going to talk about her business and being an entrepreneur in general. Also what else she does with her work, and maybe a little bit about that cute new baby of hers. And Kiara leads with an Enneagram Type 4 motivation, which is the romantic or the individualist, and the motivation is to find significance in life, to be unique. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Kiara on. And while I do that, just joined. Hi, Alexis. Good to see you, girl. Alexis was my first guest on this and also happens to be one of Kiara's besties. Hi, Kiara. Nice
Hi.
to meet you. Please tell me I'm pronouncing your name right, and if I'm not, make sure that I know how to pronounce. Is it Kiara?
Well, so people call me Kiara or Kiara. Honestly, I respond to either one. So whatever feels natural to you, just go for it.
Okay. Well, it's so nice to meet you. How are you?
Likewise, I'm good. I just finished up a makeup appointment and just trying to make the best of this rainy Monday.
I
So
know. The good news is the rain's washing away the snow.
yeah,
So
bless
I'm over it. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for the snow to go away now. As are the pants that I wear that are getting splashed on the backs of my legs.
you. Oh,
You do that Cincinnati problem with the salt. Yeah.
yep. They ruined my shoes and yeah, it's no fun. When the snow turns black, it's time to go.
That's right. That's right. Well, all right. So, would you mind please briefly introducing yourself? Just talk about who you are, your Enneagram type, and what your business is.
Yeah, so my name is Kiera. I am a 4 on the Enneagram, and I am, I don't know, a little bit about me. I'm from Cold Spring, Kentucky. I live in Covington right now. Um, my business is Vibe Beauty LLC, and I do makeup and eyelash extensions. Um, I guess the kind of my core belief system to, just why I do what I do is I feel like, everyone has their own unique style of what feels beautiful to them. Beauty is not just like a universal thing, a one size fits all thing for everyone. So I feel like it's our job to, bring that vision to life for people. When people think of like a makeup artist or getting their makeup done, like a lot of times people think of like full glam or whatever, but not everyone likes that. Some people like to
Hmm.
natural and stuff, so I like to, but I also like to do a full face makeup. So I don't know, I like to keep it versatile and try to serve people with where they're at.
That's great. And okay, so I love hearing you talk about this, especially in the context of leading with a 4 motivation. Fours tend to be the type with the most artistic number of people that identify as a certain type. So it's a very artistic number. And you're in the business of creativity and art, by your interpretation of beauty and your palette being people, which is really, really, really cool. And what I love about what you said is that you see the unique needs and desires of each person, and you're not trying to project what you see onto them. You're letting them lead you with what they feel will make them appear inside and outside their most beautiful. So it's a great mission. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been working with the Enneagram, and how'd you hear about it?
I actually heard about it through my small group a few years ago. It Yeah, it's kind of it's been super helpful with just my group of friends. It's been fun to, I feel like I know people on a different level than what I used to before I knew about the Enneagram. And I feel more known too. Um, Even like to myself, like I remember the first time that like I read what a four was, like what their personality was like, and I was like, oh my God, like I have always felt different, like a
Uh-huh.
four, and I'm like, I feel like someone actually knows who I am now. Like this is how I felt my whole life, but now I have words for it. So yeah, it's kind of amazing what it can do for, I don't know, for communication and just all kinds of stuff.
And I love you just said, I felt like someone knows who I am now, and that someone is you, right? It's like, oh, oh, that's why I do what I do.
Yep.
Okay. Like now I just need to make sure people understand this about me. So,
Yeah.
and then also what I love about it, and what I love that you mentioned, you did it with a small group. So you did it on a more holistic stance, which I think is so crucial if you're going to study the Enneagram. And that's really understanding the Enneagram as a whole and all the types, because we have all the types in us, but there's one that we lead with. And so when you understand what you lead with and why you think the way that you think, the first thing we learn is not everybody thinks like I do. Right. And isn't it like amazing to finally figure out like when there's conflict or disagreements, or somebody interprets something differently than the way you intended for it to be projected. And it's like, okay, now you can understand, well, they don't think the way that I do. So that's probably why they're processing it differently. And that develops the beauty of empathy. And it also gives us like the opportunity for self-awareness and, being able to think, okay, well, this person's an 8 and I'm a 4. And so the 8 isn't going to want to beat around the bush on this. So I'm just going to tell them how it is. And I know that they'll hear it better from me that way. And so really getting into the context of the types and developing both the self-awareness and empathy is so incredibly powerful. So I love that you shared that. Now, tell me about your journey of getting to entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I would say mine has started in, I would say, high school, when I kind of realized like the typical college thing just wasn't going to be for me. I knew I loved the beauty industry, but I didn't really know what the future looked like for someone with my passions, because I didn't really know anyone else that was doing what I wanted to do successfully.
Mm-hmm.
And so, after, and I would do like my friends' makeup for prom and stuff like that. So I always kind of like had fun with it, but I just didn't see it as like being a career that could be like lucrative, I guess. So after high school, I ended up getting married pretty quickly, and just took some time to just work and save money, help my husband pay off his student loan debt, and just was kind of coasting at that point, um, trying to just kind of figure things out and take some time. And I eventually met someone who does wedding makeup, and she asked me if I wanted to shadow her a few times to get a feel for what it was like to be a makeup artist for weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said yes. And I instantly fell in love with the field. I decided I was going to start doing the same thing. I thought there's no reason why I can't do this too. So I started to build my kit up and um, take small steps to get to where I wanted to be. So um, eventually, I decided to invest in myself and go to school to get
Mm-hmm.
my aesthetics license at Aveda.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I so I went to school, like I went to go get my aesthetic license. They cover makeup a little bit in school, but it's mostly skincare and
Sure.
facial and stuff like that. So I mostly got it, one, just because it's always better to have a license, and um, just to just for like legal purposes and
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. And it gives you that credibility in case people are needing that before they actually get to see your work. So,
And also just broadens my the services that I can offer people. I wanted
mhm.
to have, like in the wintertime, like it's typically slow season for weddings and stuff. So I wanted to have another, form of another stream of income that I could bring in all like, year round. So I went to school, got my license. After that, I got pregnant and decided to take a little bit of time off. And I gave birth at the beginning of the pandemic. And it was, I mean, honestly, kind of good timing for me personally, because makeup artists weren't really able to do much work in
Sure.
time. So
Yeah.
it was kind of nice for me to just kind of take it easy, like adjust to being a new mom and stuff. Um, so yeah, I had my baby. Eventually, like after my maternity leave, I kind of started to slowly take on a few weddings here and there, and I started to, take on a couple lash clients. And then one of the guys in my small group, he has an art studio, and I he ended up, offering me to rent the space from him, so that I could kind of have a space for me to take my lash clients and my makeup clients. So I recently did that. I opened that up in December. So that's still pretty new and exciting for me.
Is that the Vibe Beauty LLC specifically, or was Vibe Beauty LLC your business? Was that open before you actually started the storefront part?
It was open before I actually
Got it.
started. Yeah.
Okay.
But this was definitely the next step that I needed to take.
It's exciting.
Honestly, like I was just like only either I was traveling to people's houses to do their makeup,
Hmm.
lash extensions or whatever, or I'd have people like come to my place. And honestly, during a pandemic, I was like, I'm not going to just be having people come over to my house right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was like a huge step for me in order to like really not be afraid to grow my business more.
Congratulations. Let me just pause and honor that. That's really exciting. Good for you. I'm so happy for you.
Um, so yeah, after that, I mean, that's really kind of where I am right now. Like I said, it's not been very long. So I'm still sort of like new
Hmm.
in my journey, I guess you could say. But I feel like my biggest takeaway so far has been to just not, be afraid to go against the status quo of, what everyone else is doing. If you feel like you're supposed
Hmm.
to go a different path, had I listened to my guidance counselors in high school and most other adults around me at that time, like I would have been going to, college for 4 years and been $50,000 in debt with a degree that I'm probably not even going to use. And so I'm glad that I took time. Like I had a feeling in my gut that like that wasn't going to be useful to me specifically.
Hmm.
Now for other people, it absolutely is necessary for what they want to accomplish. But for me specifically, I just want other people to know that like if you know deep down in your heart that that's just not what's supposed to happen for you, then like listen to it. So
Great
yeah,
advice.
community and mentors. Like
Hmm.
I can't stress that enough. Like if you are an entrepreneur, like get people in your corner. Find people who have already blazed the path that you are trying to go on, and learn from them. And some people don't have that luxury. Some people are literally starting something completely new and there isn't anyone that has done it before, but still just get people in your corner who are going to encourage you and keep pushing you forward and stuff, because you can get in your head when you're an entrepreneur trying to start something.
Yes.
People, yeah.
It's so true. Okay, so I love that you said that. I love that you apprenticed first before you made the choice to go to school. I think that was very wise. My sister actually is a hairstylist. She went to Aveda Institute too, long time ago, and she did the same thing. She knew leaving high school that college was not going to be a wise investment because it didn't speak to her heart. And she was very artistic as well. And I always really honored that about her and her self-knowledge and just sticking to what she knew was right. And I think that that's the beauty of the type 4 and the individualist. And my sister's still trying to figure out what her type is. So I don't want to type her, but she's very artistic and so forth. But the idea of the individualist being that they have a very good understanding of themselves and a very, when they're in their self-awareness, they have a very strong way of honoring themselves and proceeding on the path that they know will lead to significance for them. And that's that motivational desire for significance and to be unique that helps drive that, right? And that's part of why you knew you could disrupt the status quo and not go to college like your peers and still find just as much success, if not more, building and carving your own path. So I think that's a great story. I love that. Again, I love that you found somebody to apprentice with. I think that anybody watching this that's going into an industry where there are folks there to help lead and teach, having an apprenticeship is so powerful and deeply encouraged. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but do you have any specific stories or examples about how you've recognized your type 4 motivation in your work, whether it's a challenge or something like that was really good that happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of mentioned before about not being afraid of going against the status quo. And, you know, I think that kind of speaks to my core motivation of being authentic and not just going with the flow of what everyone else is doing, but, really following your heart, as cliche as that sounds, I guess. I feel like something that has been a challenge for me is, if I'm feeling stressed or intimidated about something, tax season is a thing. It's a whole pain in the rear end for small business owners and stuff. And so when I get intimidated and overwhelmed by all the things that I have to do for my business, sometimes in the name of being authentic, I can get in my head and sit in my feelings and, because I'm okay with feeling positive feelings, but I'm okay with sitting with my negative emotions as well. And sometimes I can sit there for too long, again, in the name of being authentic. So be healthy. And sometimes that's necessary to, be okay with just where you're at sometimes, but it can become unhealthy when you just sit there for too long. So, and that's why it's so important to have people in your corner to kind of pull you out of your headspace a bit and try to, just get a different point of view and stuff. My husband he's a 3 and he's super type A and is always looking for an answer to a problem and is so we're super, super opposite. I don't know. He's a fixer. He likes to just get stuff done. So he's helped me in that of just being able to I can get sucked into my emotions and it's hard for me to see a way out of it sometimes. Yeah. But he's okay, emotions aside, let's figure out a way to get out of this. So he's been helpful with that.
That's great. That's a great call out. I think again that compliment of sometimes the 4's getting in that stuckness and having that supportive 3 to come kind of say, okay, we're going to solve this issue and I'm going to help you kind of move forward. That sounds like a great chemistry combination for the two of you to be helpful. And also because our beloved 3s, similar to 8s, we, even though 3s are in the heart space, their biggest work is also the heart space because they don't allow themselves to tap into their emotions because that slows them down and they don't want to be slowed down from achieving and doing. And so having that balance of you to slow him down a little bit and process the things is also a really healthy combo. So isn't it wonderful when you know you and your spouse know each other's types, like how helpful that is?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's, um, avoided arguments, but also shed light on past arguments.
Hmm.
Just being able to see, like, why they responded the way that they did. And it just kind of makes it easier to not take things as personally, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it can feel like a personal attack when they respond a certain way, but really it's just how they're wired, and um,
Yeah. It has
especially,
nothing to do with you specifically, right?
yeah. So, and I also kind of wanted to mention, like, I like when you think of an entrepreneur, like a lot of times I feel like there's this, um, you know, on the grind, like hustle mentality, and that is part of it. But I feel like people get too hung up on that, um, on the just the hustle portion of it, and to the point where like maybe it can intimidate some people from wanting to take the leap to become an entrepreneur. Because honestly, like I I am not a very self-motivated person naturally. Like it does take a level of, motivation to obviously start a business and
Hmm.
maintain stuff, but again, that's why like community. I'll always like advocate for community, like because like you need people when you that's a personal weakness for me. And if there's anyone else out there that feels like that just isn't super motivated, and um, just gets overwhelmed by like the amount of work that like has to be done in order to accomplish your dreams or whatever, like it's okay to not naturally be like that. Like my husband, like I look at him, he started a nonprofit, and like he just can like knock it out. Like he just, I mean, he does everything, and without a single complaint, and like he loves it. Like I don't know, he's just naturally wired to just like be super productive. I'm just not. I'm completely opposite. And again, that's how we kind of balance each other out. But I guess want to give people permission that if you are not naturally a super motivated person, like that's okay. Find people who will again push you to get out of your headspace and encourage you to just like, I don't know, with new ideas of like next steps that you can do. Like part of this journey, I felt like I was being, like handheld a little bit to like, I don't know, keep moving forward, get past my fears and stuff, and keep taking steps. So just know that there is grace for people out there like me.
Gosh, I just think that is such a wise nugget of advice for people, and I hope that whoever's watching this heard you on that, because as somebody that's a fairly new entrepreneur myself, I'm quickly learning that it's not all about quantity, it's about the quality and the pace, and it's burnout is real, especially right now. And it's about making like those very mindful decisions about what's really going to serve your desired outcome for your business and staying that path and not getting distracted by all the things you can do but don't necessarily need to. And to your point, the type 4 is of the withdrawing stance, I believe, right? Your withdrawing stance, 4, 9, and 5,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. And so, yeah, the withdrawing stance. So, you're already naturally wired to withdraw and not put yourself out in the middle of everything, just for the sake of being in the spotlight, right? It's very intentional. And that doesn't mean you can't be an entrepreneur. Are you all right? Everything is the reception okay? And so,
Yeah,
the
sorry. Screen time on my phone so that I don't stay on
oh,
Instagram long, and it just went off, so I just had to.
oh, that's so funny. Okay. So like, but the definition of entrepreneurship isn't start a business, it's make something out of nothing,
Yeah.
and you don't have to think about when you think about it that way, it's a lot more creative than it is business oriented. And that's the beauty of it. And I'm discovering that as well. So I love that you just shared that. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are afraid because maybe they don't have as much get up and go as they see some of the more aggressive types do. And I am an aggressive type, but I'm trying to also crack open the vulnerability that I so desperately need to get in touch with. And part of doing that is slowing down. So, yeah, so I love that you said that. I think that's so wise. Thank you. Truly. Yeah. So, let's see here. You've touched on almost all the questions that we planned for. I'd love for you to share anything specific about your business that you would want people to know. Anything new coming in the pipeline or anything like that?
Nothing new coming in the pipeline, I guess. I'm still sticking to just doing eyelash extensions and makeup, just growing that. A lot of my focus is going to be on my lash extension clients right now. And I am going to offer 25% off on a full set of classic lash extensions to the first person that messages me after this interview.
Ooh,
the original price
that's so generous.
A full set is $130, but with the 25% off, it'll be $97.50. So if you're interested in some classic lash extensions, just message me and maybe you can get that discount.
That is so kind. Thank you. Thank you for that. And the last thing is first of all, where's your storefront so that people know where to find you in real life? And then tell me about all your handles and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm in Covington right now. It's currently at an art studio called Glow Art Studio. So it's kind of a shared space. My landlord has like his artwork in there on the walls, and then I have my makeup studio where I do the lash extensions and stuff. So it's in Covington on West Pike Street.
Oh, I love that spot.
Yeah. And it's by appointment only, so you do have to schedule an appointment in order to come. Don't do walk-ins just yet. So yeah, come holler in the Cove.
That's awesome. Yeah, okay. So that reminded me when you said that. So I know that you also model as well. You work with the Native One, which is a great local boutique. Are there any other areas or any other boutiques or retailers that you're working with right now?
I do some stuff with Pink Blush, maternity. They sell stuff for obviously maternity clothes, but then also just for like everyday wear as well. And I am represented by Heyman Talent Agency, so I do stuff for them. And even before Heyman, I did stuff for companies that I'm under contract to not talk about, but
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So I'm curious though, and this is why I brought this up, because you are a withdrawing stance, and I've done some modeling before as a kid, and the pictures are hilarious. Sometime I'll post them to give people a good laugh. But anyway, like your withdrawing stance, so getting in front of that camera and like, it doesn't mean you're not like there's a lack of confidence. It just means you have to put that confidence on camera. Like, how does it feel coming from where you come from in your heart space to put yourself out there like that? And your pictures are gorgeous, by the way.
I don't know. Like I guess I sort of correlate, even though makeup and modeling are two different fields, I feel like it's all sort of entwined in just the beauty industry as a whole. And so sometimes I don't just do wedding makeup. I do commercial and editorial makeup as well for photo shoots and stuff. An Olay commercial was just released that I was the hair and makeup artist on.
Cool.
And so sometimes I'm doing, I'm more behind the scenes doing hair and makeup. Sometimes I'm in front of the camera. So I just love all aspects of it. And I don't know. I just feel confident that this is the field that I'm supposed to be in. And it just feels like it kind of comes naturally to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I will notice, like, when it comes to just like being you know, like withdrawing sometimes. I feel like I find myself withdrawing more so when I don't feel like when I put myself out there. Um, like one time there was a project that I was working on, and it was a photo shoot, and they basically said, feel free to, put ideas out there, and you know, just give us your thoughts on like different shots that we should get or whatever. And I gave some ideas and stuff, and like all of them got shot down pretty much. And so after that, I kind of just like withdrew, like, because I felt
Got
like
it.
if I'm going to put myself out there and be authentic, but I feel like it's not being received well, then like I kind of just retreat, and I'm like, okay, it feels like I can't like trust you to like be
Hmm.
who I really am. That's kind of a dramatic like example or whatever, but
Yeah,
I
but makes
was
sense.
like that. So,
Well, and I think I'd venture to say too, especially coming from the heart center of intelligence, the first difficult emotion that's triggered is shame in that particular center of intelligence. So that feeling of rejection can trigger that and hurt, and that can make you lose trust and faith in people to, that have essentially made the choice to not go with your work. And so that can create that pain as well. So that makes sense.
yeah. Yep.
So, well, thank you for sharing that about yourself. The last thing I'll ask you, and then I know I think you've got somewhere to be here in just a few minutes, is how is it having a cute, sweet little baby and running a business?
Um, it's interesting. I've enjoyed being a mom mostly. Um,
That's
I
about right.
so I recently actually, my husband and I ended up calling my mother-in-law and just was like, hey, I, so I've only been wanting to kind of do makeup and lash extensions sort of part-time right now, because I like being able to sort of be like a stay-at-home mom, but then also
Mhm.
have an outlet where I can work and make money too. So,
Yeah.
for the most part, it's just been me staying home to take care of her. But, um, I was only getting a babysitter on the days that I had clients, but some days I just didn't have any clients, but had plenty of, just a business administrative stuff that I could be
Sure.
working. And I just needed, but it's hard to do that when you have a 9-month-old and you're just trying to like sneak stuff in, like in between naps, but like you
Hmm.
also have other things that you need to do besides business stuff. So
Yeah.
it is hard to juggle.
Hmm.
Trying to run a business and take care of a child at the same time. So we ended up talking to my mother-in-law, and she's going to watch Haven 2 days a week, regardless of if I have flash clients or not, so that I
Hmm.
have time to get away and focus and not feel the pressure of you know trying to beat the clock of when she wakes up from her nap, and
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed by that. It's nice to have some dedicated time to just like get stuff done, and just have that balance.
Yeah.
So that's something that we just decided, which I feel like will be really helpful for me
God
moving.
bless the helpers.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
we need
For
it.
sure. For sure. And I love that you asked for help, because that's what it takes right now. And that's what it always takes. It's just the willingness to do that and know you're worthy of having that help. So that's wonderful. Well, I've loved this conversation. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story and your Enneagram journey. I've learned a lot from you, and I think you've got a lot to offer. And I'm so excited to watch all of this unfold for you at the beautiful pace you've set for yourself.
Thank you. I'm so glad that I could be on here and get to know you a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm super
All
happy.
right. Well, thank you. And thanks to everybody who joined. And if you have been on and watching, remember there's that special offer that came in just a little bit ago for one person. So make sure that you're aware. Oh, yes, one
My
more thing.
site is
Yes.
vibeautysensi.com. So it's VIBE and then Beauty Sensi. Sensi is spelled CINCY.
And that's your handle as well, right?
As well, Vibe Beauty Sensi. So you can
Okay.
do that.
Awesome. Thank you again, Kiara. Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye.
Take care. Bye.